just based on your work, what you've done, who you've treated, whatever, using that as a filter, how do you see, you know, how do you see these powers or whatever psionics like implementing into the world and affecting society and cultures, and how do you see it just affecting the human psyche, I guess? I don't know. Does that make sense what I'm
Yeah,
asking?
it
Like,
does. I honestly haven't really thought about it. I've only been thinking about it in regards to the phenomenon and
sure.
can we communicate with the phenomenon? Can we bring UAPs into existence?
Yeah.
Is that our method of communications? That's the scope of which I've been thinking about it. Um, and one's got to be wary. Another reason I don't refer to psychics because 90% of them are going to be fraudulent, and I don't know the percentage, but let's say a vast
Sure.
majority.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
and and I'm not saying all those 90% know that. Maybe half of them don't. They really have good intentions and they're trying to tap into something. And then there's some that absolutely it's extortion.
Yeah.
So it's just being really deeply careful about that. But how could it like help more globally and in other areas? I think that's a great question. I mean, if we can really truly read minds and see into the future, to be honest, I see more potential dangers and risks with that. There's
Yeah,
also
me too.
an evolutionary reason or a God-given reason why we don't have that full of power and ability. um, Secrets are important, and not knowing the future is important. If we knew the future, we could be paralyzed. We could commit suicide. We could do. I mean,
Sure.
that's one thing people are terrified sometimes seeing a psychic. It's like I don't want to know what they're going to tell me.
Yeah. Well, that's a fair point. I mean, yeah. Visually, I imagine it like opening every border in the world.
Mm,
Right?
yeah,
Mentally, we open every border with this is real. We just every border is opened and it's just a free for all. And imagine if that happened physically, globally, right? Every country was like open borders. Boom. I mean, I don't know if that would be good. Like you said, secrets are there's something to limits. There's
yeah.
something
Maybe
to be said
privacy.
to
I would say
or
instead of
privacy.
secrets. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. Totally. People are going to take that the wrong way. Somebody's already clipping that for sure. Uh, yeah,
What's he hiding?
yeah. What's he hiding? No, I understood what you meant, and I agree. I totally agree. I think there's limits. I think there's something to not knowing what's around the corner. And if we knew, well, clearly you're going to prepare. I mean, how can you not know, right? If someone told you the exact time and day you're going to die, I don't see how that doesn't affect you. Maybe not every single person that's told that, but the majority, there's gonna be some sort of visceral effect, good or bad, and on a spectrum, of course.
Mhm.
Um,
Well,
would
that's the
change the
topic
way
I
you live your
spoke of
life,
with
right?
on Night Shift. I was talking about this consciousness evolutionary theory that's still in development, but a part of that theory, beyond that, I believe consciousness kind of continues to forever because in your lifetime, every emotion, every experience, the almost infinite amount of experiences that you've had is data. It's very important data, and it doesn't make sense that it would be just lost at death. There's if evolution is about adaptation and survival, it's going to continue. It has to continue. That the collective data of everyone in the world who's ever lived, that data is too valuable to delete. In my opinion.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, let's jump into that. Let's just take a left turn here. Let's
Mhm.
consciousness and um
And I'll
so
actually
you
say the second half of the theory, because it's related to what you
yeah,
said
yeah,
just
yeah.
before. The second half of it is there seems to be a deliberate, uh, by a creator, by whoever, or something just evolved, uh, that there's a sweet spot of not knowing when you're going to die, but also knowing you're going to die. The fact that we know we're going to die has huge value to provide
Sure.
motivation and ambition, and the human race has created unbelievably incredible things, pyramids, however many thousands of years ago, because we knew our life was finite. If we were immortal, I believe that either there would be mass suicides, or we would have to deal with the unbearable, uh, reality that it would never end. And I speak to it in that podcast, talking about sort of the Bill Murray movie, Groundhog
Groundhog
Day.
Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where every day he's like, he can't kill himself, and he's just like trying. And
Yeah.
so yeah, but it's finding a sweet spot. So it's sort of, okay, the value of death, but also not knowing when it happens provides some motivational value, but then also having some belief, but not full belief, that there could be something after. That's very important too. So it's finding this zone of optimal philosophical belief in that area where, we have faith that there's something after, because it could also be very depressing. We could be paralyzed by that too, but it's not certain. Like, we don't know fully, and so there's value in believing, but there's value in not knowing as well.
Oh, that's great. That's interesting for sure. Yeah, because we definitely try to. It's like most people in life want to know one way or the other, right? Is it real or not? Like there is no in between. There is no what you just said, which seems more balanced. Like that. That's okay. You think this may be possible, but you're not certain. So you're still balancing your life in a way that it could not be true, but also true. So maybe you take some risks that normally you wouldn't, but at the same time, you're a little more reserved in other areas, just in case. Yeah, I mean, it's such life is such an individual journey that we all take together as a group. So there's both existing, and it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice to make. What decisions? I mean, we all make decisions based on information. So you could argue, well, the more informed we are, right, we'll make a better decision. But maybe there's some things best left uninformed. I
Yeah,
don't know if that makes sense.
that's you. Yeah, encapsulated right there. Yeah, we want to feel in control. We need information to feel in control, and predict and prepare for the future as best
Yeah,
as possible. But we can't know the big questions. Like,
yeah.
maybe we can to some extent, but not fully. I think. I mean, maybe that's just another thing that we could evolve to know, and learn to know, and learn to cope with.
And be okay with it. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great point.
kind of like the
Honestly, we
phenomenon.